As I'm recording this, it is Christmas Eve 2020, and I have a lot to do today. But I wanted to do an episode this week that was not my ordinary episode. It was something that I thought about what could I do for people who are closing out 2020 and getting prepared for 2021. And I thought the best thing that I can give to you is the knowledge that I've gained from doing the plan. The plan is a weight loss solution that I found a year ago, and it has been life changing for me. And I know a lot of people out there are at this time of year thinking, I need to get back on track in January. Very few people start in December like I did. I just decided to redo it. I went off track a little bit. In fact, I was overdoing the sweets way too much. So my husband likes sweets and he will never stop eating sweets. So sometimes I just want to support him. So I eat sweets with him. But I did get into like having ice cream every night, which I used to do a lot. And I got out of that bad habit. And I think ice cream's great for once in a while, but it's not something that you should have every single day. And I still was eating, I would say 75-80% healthy meals. But I went back on the way the plan works, and I'm going to get into it, is you start out with a cleanse and you go through this 20-day testing period. So I'm going to explain what it is. And I want you, if you're interested in getting back on track in January, to consider this as an option for you. I have done many, many, many meal plans, weight loss solutions through the years. As you know, when I was in the health and fitness field, I was doing that for 4.5 years. And so as a Beachbody coach, I learned a lot about different solutions, and many of them worked really well for me. But a year ago, when I was up in weight and I was struggling so much, I mean, I tried for the better part of a year in 2019 to lose any weight, and it wouldn't budge. It wouldn't budge. Now, I'm not somebody who normally takes off weight easily, and I didn't have a lot to lose, so 10 or 15 pounds was what I wanted to lose. And so it's not something that I say I tend to lose about a pound a week. I mean, a good weight loss is 2 to 2.5 pounds per week, and I'm never really lost that much that quickly. And the less you have to lose, you don't lose it as quickly, I've found. And the people who have a lot to lose can lose a lot more than that per week, especially starting out, because it's like their body adjusts and like is loving having healthier meals, and usually the weight comes off really quickly in the beginning and then tapers off, and then you kind of get into this weight loss maintenance mode of 2.5 to 3 pounds a week. So I was really frustrated in 2019, and my daughter actually told me about the plan. I was like, what is this? And again, having been a Beachbody coach and knowing what solutions there were, I tried those in 2019, but they didn't work. And so I was desperate, and it was in November. So I ordered the book, and you can find the book on Amazon for $12. So it's the cheapest weight loss solution you can find, I think. And I started on December 9th, 2019, and it was pretty incredible. The results very quickly. And in doing so, I discovered I had a yeast overgrowth issue, which I didn't even know I had. And when you have a yeast overgrowth issue, it can keep you from losing weight. It's a real unknown. A lot of people have yeast overgrowth, especially as they get older, and they don't know. And so if you are struggling and you've been trying to lose weight and you can't, you probably have a yeast overgrowth problem. You can find that out by doing the plan. They have a simple test on how to do it. So anyways, I want to go over what the plan is. So if you're not interested and you're at a weight you love, then maybe this episode isn't for you. But if you're in that place where you got to do something, you want to feel better, maybe you're just struggling with you know, another thing, if you are achy, it's probably because you have inflammation in your body from the food you're eating. So if you're feeling any kind of joint pain, if you're feeling sluggish, if any kind of brain fog, like you're not thinking as clearly, it's what you're eating. It's what you're eating. It's a combination of the food you're eating, and likely uh, it's foods that are inflaming you, that's causing inflammation, and that's what you find out on the plan. So I'm gonna go over what it is, what it does, how it works, basically, and the results. What I learned, the results I got, and what I learned through the process. So let's start. Oh, and I should say too that I have a school called the Second Half Spark School, and I teach how to find purpose in it. And I added this as like a bonus when people signed up. I have a workshop called I think it's called the Friendly Foods Workshop, because that's what you basically do in the plan is you find the foods that are friendly to your body. And so I said, okay, we're going to focus on finding purpose first, because I don't want, you can get very overwhelmed when you're taking an online program and you're learning all this stuff. And so I wanted to focus first on purpose, because that's what really sparks the internal flame. And then once we kind of master that work, then we move to the outside and we start to focus on, although honestly, what you put in your body is really the inside. And so there's so many benefits of good nutrition and eating right. And so I threw this in there just because I had really amazing experience with this. And so I recently rolled it out to my students. And of course, who wants to start in December? A lot of them are waiting until January to start. But the couple people who started with me, because I wanted to prove and show them, and plus I wasn't feeling great, and I wanted to, actually lose a little bit of weight before before we got into like Christmas. So the results, incredible. In fact, everybody I've recommended this to has had incredible results. And so not one person has come back who's done it and said, this didn't work for me. Some people have said, it's too intense, so it's not for me. But I will say I like easy. And if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I don't like difficult and complex. So anyways, what it is it is a $12 book that you can buy on Amazon. So just Google the plan. It's as simple as that. It's a gold book, and it's not even really a long book, but it has everything you need in that $12 book. It has information, which is, first, you need to read the book before you start. I ordered the book in November, and I read it before I started. I started on December 9th. It's funny how we remember these dates, last year. So I started it then, and then by the middle of January, I lost 10 pounds. Remember, I said I had been trying for like 10 months to lose weight and had not had any success. So that was pretty incredible to me. But you also learn when you read the book is like how to do the test for yeast. There's also a test for metabolism, or thyroid, not metabolism, thyroid. So a large number of women at midlife have thyroid problems. But when you go to the doctor, they test for, there's a kind of a measurement, and it's and she explains it in the book. But the measurement that they look for, and if you're above that, they put you on thyroid medicine. But that only says like extreme, like thyroid dysfunction. You can still have thyroid dysfunction that's affecting your ability to metabolize food, and it's just a little bit of a lower number. But that's not gonna, the doctor isn't gonna do anything about it, because they have this one metric that they go by. And so I thought that was really interesting too. So you want to test for that. And so the book gives you these eye-opening kind of this clarity on what's going on in your body. And so I think that's really key. And the book has the menu plans that you need, and the recipes that you need. It's everything in this little $12 book. It's pretty incredible. So I would recommend that you take your Christmas money and you go buy that book. And the author is she's a French woman, so I should have brought her name, but again, you'll see it, and I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put a link to the show notes so you can know that you got the right book. There's also a book on metabolism that has come out since. I haven't not ordered it. My daughter ordered it and said it's really, really great. And there's also a cookbook. So those are the kind of supplement things, but you don't need the cookbook. You only need, because a lot of the recipes that are in the cookbook are in the little book. And so you don't need all those extra recipes. But if you do the plan and you really like it, then you might want to add in the cookbook later for additional recipes. But she makes things that you wouldn't think were yummy, very yummy. So there's a lot of there's like a carrot ginger soup. And I posted this on social media because it's become I like have it for lunch every single day. It's the most amazing. And I don't like cooked carrots. So I'll just put that out there. Cooked carrots, blah. And so I love this carrot ginger soup. It's so yummy. And you can put sriracha sauce in it. So it has a little bit of a bite. And it's so easy to make. I mean, I can make it blindfolded now. It's just so easy to make. So you get all kinds of great recipes and really learn how to like vegetables because they're so yummy the way she describes them. Another example is like goat cheese. I'm not a big goat cheese fan. In fact, I usually choose, like if I go to a restaurant and it has goat cheese in it, I'm like, hold the goat cheese. It's just too strong of cheese for me. But a lot of people are very highly reactive to cow cheese. And so goat cheese is one of the first cheeses you can test, and then followed by sheep cheese, which is manchego, which is really good too. So I'm like, goat cheese, I definitely don't want to do goat cheese, but she has you put it on a salad with roasted vegetables and you mix it up, and it tempers the bite of the goat cheese, and you don't even need dressing. And oh my gosh, it's so yummy. So those are just a couple of examples of the things that you'll learn how to make new things that are really healthy. And so it doesn't, and you're never hungry. That's the other thing. A lot of times when you go on these meal plans or diet plans, you're like starving a lot, and I am never hungry on it. So it's this $12 book, and I have done a lot of things. So as a former Beachbody coach, I did the 21-day fix, had success with that. That's where you portion out everything. Then I did 2B mindset. So that is where it's a portioning kind of, not portioning, but plating kind of meal plan where you kind of just look at your plate. You don't measure calories. You don't measure things. You just look at your plate and you have, 1/3 protein, 1/3 carb or carbohydrate. And then no, I'm sorry, like 2/3 at dinner. You don't have carbohydrates at dinner for that one. You have 2/3 veggies and 1/3 protein. And at lunch, for example, you do 1/4 protein, 1/4 carbohydrates, and half vegetables. So it's a different kind of model. And what it does is it teaches you not to be hyper sensitive about counting calories, because we've gotten into a very bad habit of counting calories in our culture. And on the plan, I'll tell you, just my breakfast is, I added it up one day, how many calories it is. It's like 800 calories. And I used to keep myself to 12, nothing over 1,500 calories, 1,200 to 1,500. And that's a deprivation. When you're worried and constantly counting, and I'm very methodical and I'm a big measurer. And so when you're so focused on the amounts and the measuring and the calories, it really distracts from the experience. And what I've learned with the plan is it's more about healthy fats and getting those, because healthy fats keep you full, getting the right mixture of ingredients together. And it really doesn't matter about calories. An 800 calorie breakfast, and then I ate, lunch, snack, and dinner. And so you can imagine it was probably close to like 3,000 calories, like an athlete. And I'm not even doing exercise. And I had that weight loss. I don't even, I'm not even going to bother counting calories. And I never have done it on the plan because I don't want to really worry about it. I don't want to clutter my brain with that, uh, that nonsense, honestly. And the scale is, I started to view it as it's like my friend. My scale is not the enemy. It's like, I might not like what it tells me. It's like getting good advice from a good friend, right? And so it's just evidence, right? It's evidence. What's the scale telling me? Is the scale telling me that the food I ate yesterday was reactive in my body, or was it a friendly food? So that's why I like to call it friendly food. She calls it non-reactive and reactive foods. So basically what it does, the plan, is it's a scientifically based model, really. And what Lynn has discovered through her research, and I don't even know what her background is, but and I love this analogy. It's like your body is a beaker. Like you're in chemistry class and your body is this beaker and you're pouring things into it through your mouth cavity, and they're having reactions. Your beaker body is having chemical reactions to what you're putting into it. And some people have a bad reaction and some people have good reactions to the same food. So, you have these lists of these are the healthy foods, eat these and you'll be fine. These stay away from. Well, do you know that there's potato chips on a snack on the plan? And who would think that was on a meal plan? So, um, the thing with what you learn is what foods are non-reactive or friendly, as I like to say, and what foods are reactive, which cause inflammation inside your body. So our body actually has a defense system in it. And when you eat and ingest a food that doesn't mix well with your internal makeup, because we're all different, then it kind of like explodes. It's experiment gone bad. And the result is that you swell, your body swells inside. And that's your actually immune system fighting that invader, which is that food you just ate. And what's interesting is as you get older, we get more sensitive. And when we're younger, we can eat pretty much anything. And we've ingested food for half a century. And anything that we've ingested that over time we might have been sensitive to, but we didn't notice it because we were younger and had lots of energy and we were running around and all that kind of stuff. The older you get and the more that you are exposed to that inflammatory food, the worse it gets. It accumulates over time. And so by the time we reach midlife, if we're eating the same food, it can cause a lot of problems. So I had one friend who I recommended a year ago to do the plan, and she had knee replacement surgery in December 2018. So I introduced it to her, and I didn't realize the side that I had no idea she would get the results she did. And she was dumbfounded too. I mean, she wanted to lose weight. She didn't have any idea that this would help remove the pain that she had. She was suffering so much a year after having knee replacement, and her pain went away after like being on the plan for like a week. So that tells you what inflammation does to your body. The inflammation can actually cause pain. That's how much havoc it can wreak in your system. So it's a scientifically based model. It's not like just like this random, and I think it's been around for a while. Like I was really surprised. I think it's been around for, I don't know, 10 years or many years, if so it's not like a new thing. And how I found out about it is there was a group of Beachbody coaches that my daughter found out. They had this Facebook group and they were doing the plan, which of course is not a Beachbody sanctioned or anything plan. It was just people who care about health and fitness and care about their clients are always looking for solutions. And so I felt very fortunate to get into this group, and and have a support system that helped me and kept me accountable. And also I could ask questions in, because a lot of times you're like, okay, this happened. What does this mean? And so, and then to see the great, results that other people were getting. So the idea here is that you want to find out, like, foods that you would never believe are bad for you are probably harming you. So she has a list of highly reactive, medium reactive, and lower reactive foods. And of course, what she does is she starts you on this 3-day cleanse that where you're just doing low reactive. I mean, the chances of you being reactive to these foods are very, very low. So that's what you start with. And you kind of go through this 3-day cleanse. And I'm not going to lie, the cleanse is difficult because if you drink coffee, you're going to have caffeine headache. So I always recommend you do 5 days of half caff to kind of wean yourself so your headaches aren't as bad. She does allow you to have Tylenol. She does not want you to have ibuprofen to get rid of the headache. And so I would do Tylenol, and it helped a lot. But for me, there's all kinds of detox symptoms. And because I started it this again, December 12th. And so I wanted to have a little bit of a headway into the season. I'm taking a break for the next week because Christmas, of course, and then my daughter and her husband and my grandson are coming to visit. So I don't want to be on the plan while they're here. So I'm going to be enjoying and not worrying about it, which is that's another great thing about the plan. But you should have this 20-day testing phase period. But because I did it before, I'm not as worried about doing that right now, but I wanted to get through the cleanse, and I got through about 10 days of doing it before I stopped yesterday. So basically the cleanse for me, I was having a lot of back pain. So that you can have flu-like symptoms, and I've had cleanses before, and that's a common theme with me, is to get back pain, and it starts in my lower back and it migrates up to my upper back, and it usually comes in around day 4 or day 5. So, and now the cleanse is only 3 days, and then you continue to test. So your body is still adjusting to being without that sugar, and so because I was eating so much sugar, I think my back ache was a little worse this time. And also, and this happened last time, it didn't happen this time. I got a huge runny nose. I had to have Kleenex by my side the whole time. And it's so funny because I was reading more about what are detox symptoms, and that, basically think of it this way: your body is expelling all the bad shit out, and that's the way it does it. Expels it out through urine, through poop, through blowing your nose. Everything comes out. And so it sounds yucky, but that's how you can tell what you're doing is so good for your body. Even though it doesn't maybe feel good when you're doing it. And then you get to day 4, and then you start the testing of the foods. So, and then I will say the 3 days, you're still eating. I was never hungry. So it's still really fabulous food. And day 3 on the cleanse, you eat chicken. So it's not even take all the animal protein. The first 2 days you don't have animal protein, but the 3rd day you do. So it's not a really intense cleanse like I have done in the past. I did a cleanse when I was a Beachbody coach called the Ultimate Reset, and it was 21 days, and you couldn't have animal protein. I don't think I mean, I think they reintroduce it maybe in the 3rd week, but that's a long time when you like your animal protein. All right. So that's basically it in a nutshell and what it entails. But so results, what I wanted to tell you is, and what I learned is that these highly reactive foods, so 80% of the population is highly reactive to salmon and asparagus and non-organic spinach. And what else is on that list? You would not believe the healthy, so-called healthy items that are on that list. So you may be eating a lot of things on that list, and you're thinking, I'm eating healthy. Well, healthy maybe for some people who those are friendly foods too. They have to test and find out, but maybe harming you if you're one of the 80% that react. and it causes inflammation. I will tell you that I was eating salmon and asparagus like twice a week. So, and it's not that if you find foods that are unfriendly to you, it might just mean you're eating it too often. And if you take a break for a couple of months from eating it, you can go back to eating it. You just can't eat it a lot. You have to eat it like infrequently. So it's really fascinating how this works. So it's, and again, it's not deprivation, it's like education. And just remember your body's a beaker and you are the scientist, and you have to figure out when you're putting stuff in what is creating that bad experiment, what is creating that explosion inside of you. So for the last year, and I think I said this, I'm kind of going out of order because I know I talked about results a little earlier, but last year I was struggling so much. December 9th, I started doing it, and I took time off for Christmas, eating the Christmas meal, having what I wanted, including pie. And then I think maybe Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, maybe the day after for leftovers. And then went back on it for like a week. And then we went and did a few days in Miami. And so I enjoyed like the margarita on the beach and doing all that. Came back, got back on it. By mid-January, I had lost 10 pounds. And so I was over the moon about that. So I had got to my 10-pound weight loss goal in 6 weeks after trying for 10 months and going to the doctor about what's my stomach hurts. I don't know what's wrong. I feel like I have an alien inside my stomach. They tested me for ulcers. I had an endoscopy. I had all these things, and it was a yeast overgrowth. And honestly, doctors who are internal medicine doctors, the way they learn how to treat people is by giving them drugs. And what prescription can we fill and get you on? And they're not used to or taught what homeopathic remedies are out there. Not once, and I love my doctor dearly, but not once did she suggest that there might be a yeast problem or even pose that question. So I have a friend who's actually a functional medicine nurse. She's really much into the holistic stuff. And she came and, but this is after the plan is what informed me that I had a yeast overgrowth. That's how I found out. So I went on probiotics. You have to do a week of probiotics before you start on the plan, because she wants you to get your system squared away. And then, but after I was on it for a while, I reached out to her and she got me on these really good, and I'll put a link in the, I buy them on the internet, but really good probiotics. They're like top of the line. This is like spore probiotics, not antibiotics. It's natural probiotics. And so I've been doing those for, gosh, almost, not quite probably a year, but every morning. So probiotics for me. And so I feel so much better. And I never even really needed a doctor. I just needed the plan to tell me that and help me. And then once I got that yeast overgrowth addressed with the probiotics, then the weight came off. So fast forward to this year, some of the weight has come back on because I've been like totally just off the wagon. So I said, okay, I'm going to teach this to my students, and then I'm going to do it just to show them, even if they're not ready, I'm just going to do it just to show them my results. And a win-win, right? I get results, which I want, and they see it. And then whoever wants to join me before Christmas is welcome to do it. So in the past week, so I started on 12/12, and in the past, 10 days, down 6 pounds, 6 pounds in 10 days. Holy moly. Like that is unheard of for me and my body, and how it's just not easy, like I said, for me to take off weight to just like watching what I eat. It just doesn't work for me. Or it's really, really slow. And honestly, I'm such an impatient person. Most of us are impatient. I mean, I'm not for the magic diet pills or the crazy diets I used to do in college. Like I remember we went on this, what was it? Coffee and sauerkraut, like black coffee and sauerkraut diet. It's like crazy stuff. And so I'm not for any of those crazy things, but I do like to see results. I don't, it's just hard to constantly be depriving yourself and then seeing the scale drop half a pound after a week of feeling deprived and measuring everything, which is such a mind suck when you think about it, when you're so focused on, is that the right measurement? Did I have too much of this? And, you know, just always second guessing what you're doing, where you're just doing the plan and it's working and you're more excited. And when you get results like this, it makes you not want to go into the pantry and get crap out. It makes you want to do better the next day because you're like, oh my gosh. And then you start to realize how good you feel, how you're not tired anymore, how you have more energy because your beaker is getting filled with the right chemicals. It's crazy. So one of my students joined me and she has had amazing results. And we were on a call on Monday night and that was a week we had been on. She lost 10.4 pounds. I mean, I was like, my jaw dropped. I mean, so she said, I've never had any results like this. And she said, my hair is better. My skin is clearer. So again, can you imagine? This is something that I endorse because I've had great results. But when I tell somebody else about it and they have results, oh my gosh, it's such a gift to me. So that's one of the reasons why I know this episode is a little bit different than what I normally do and talk about inspirational stories of midlife transformation, but this is an inspirational story of a health transformation and it is possible for you. And so I wanted to let you know about it. I wanted to inspire you to get on track in January and do this and get your internal system cleaned up and learn what your friendly foods are, learn what works for your body, and then tell other people about it. Because I would love nothing more than the ripple effect of this episode to help a million people. Wouldn't that be amazing? A million people. So if you are still listening, you've listened through this whole thing and you're like, I'm going to Amazon and I'm going to buy this book, please share this episode. Please tell your friends about this episode. And please give me a 5-star rating, because when you give a 5-star rating and a review, it will go to more people. My episode will rise up and more people will see it. So those are the things that you can do today for me to get the word out. And I would appreciate that so much. So the other thing is I wanted to offer up to you is that I have this really amazing Facebook group that I'm in, that I'm not the admin of it, but I would welcome you to join it. And because if you want to do it, it's really important that you have a group. I think there's a bigger group. I think there's maybe The Plan has a Facebook group too. So you can just search The Plan in your Facebook app, and you can probably find one that you can get into. But if you want a smaller group and you want me and, the people that I've been associated with who've helped me, I think the Facebook group's like 170, 165, 170 people. I would love to have you in there. So you can just email me at Laurie Wright, Laurie, Wright, at notyouraverage-grandma.com. And you can just email me and say, I want to do the plan. I would love to get in that Facebook group, or just DM me on social media, on Instagram or on Facebook. And I will put you in the group, or I'll make sure you get into the group. So, and then check out her website. Go to, and again, I'll put this in the show notes. It's just Google The Plan. She's got downloadable materials. You can download and do a lot of the work with just free material that's on her website, and get a gist for what it's all about. But I would highly, highly recommend and dissuade you from starting before you get the book, because you're going to want to test for your thyroid. You're going to want to test for the yeast, and you're going to want to know all the information. I mean, the book has, and it's not, it's a quick read. It's not like you don't have to read the entire book because, like I said, there's recipes and menus in there. So you just have to read the front part before you get to the day one cleanse. And it just has some really fascinating science, data, and case studies, which are really like this one woman who ate almonds every day for a snack. And the third day you test for almonds, and she like had this horrible stomach ache. And my daughter is actually finding that she's having almond reactions. She didn't even know it. She's doing the plan for the second time, and she started the same day I did. And every time she's eaten almonds, she's had diarrhea. So, and I don't think she'd mind me sharing that, but that's you can really start to tell what's going on with your body. If you eat something when you're doing the plan and you have a reaction, whether it's a weight gain on the scale or whether it's a pain in the stomach or diarrhea, that is your reaction. So, but on the plan, you're supposed to, if you're not having a reaction to your food, lose a half a pound a day. That's your measurement. If you gain, then you're reactive. Or if you don't lose half a pound, if you lose like 0.1, that's indicative of a reaction. So that's why there's a really rapid weight loss, because when you're eating the friendly foods, and you, now obviously that's going to level off, and apparently this doesn't work as well. I thought this was interesting for younger people. Like when you're a lot younger, it's more for I thought that was fascinating too, because again, you get more sensitive as you get older. And so, yeah, it's a great way. But once you get to your kind of goal weight, or the weight that is comfortable for your body, then you're going to taper off, and but by then you're going to have tested, you're going to have gone through the 20-day testing period, and you're going to have a really good list of friendly foods. And so every time you have a reaction, you go back and do a day of friendly foods, get your body back to the baseline. And then the next day you can test again. So it's really a fascinating thing. And I could go on, and I've probably talked too long because I'm so passionate about this plan. So reach out. Let me know if you're doing it. Let me know if you have results. I'd love to hear about them and see how it worked for you. So, and Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great Christmas. If you're listening to this episode on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, you can still enjoy that Christmas spirit. And then if you're listening to it after, then happy New Year, and bring on 2021, right? All right. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning into the Not Your Average Lives podcast. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe on iTunes if you have an Apple device. You can find free resources and learn what else I have going on at the moment that might interest you on my website at notyouraverage.grandma.com. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook at Not Your Average Grandma. If you liked this episode, it would make my heart so happy if you could leave me a 5-star rating. You can also add a review to let me know what you like about this podcast, which will help spread the word about it to others who need a little midlife inspiration. As always, be you, listen to your inner voice, and focus on reigniting that lost spark so you can start living your own Not Your Average life.